my son was a living donor. So had my son not worked out, a very good friend of mine from Brian Patterson from Newmarket, he didn't take blood type, and he offered to be a blood donor. And if that didn't work out, my cousin, who's a policeman over in my hometown, Edinburgh, he was going to give me a piece of his liver. So it doesn't have to be who died or a living relative. It can be a living friend. So, and a lot of people aren't aware of that, so we'd like to get that fact out. George has bravely walked across this country, called Winston, Canada, and he's raising awareness for organ donation. I'm coming on board basically to tell you about the living donor program, and I'll pass it over to George now.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Your Worship, for once again receiving the torch of life on our second last stop on our way back to Toronto. And I also want to thank Mark for helping out and putting this event together. It's so important for us to have somebody of your stature to come out and support this cause. I know you have a lot of fans right across the country, Your Honor. I've talked to a lot of people, and you're one of my favorite people too. Always liked your style. I seen you one day when there was something going on, I think about 5 years ago. Can't remember what the topic was, but it was held at the YMCA, and the people that were speaking were asking if there was any questions from the audience. And then I looked back and I seen you step on one of the chairs to say, well, I have a question. And that impressed me so much. So it's with great honor that we accept you here today, and that you receive the torch of life on behalf of the great city of Mississauga. I just want to let you know a bit of what happened during the campaign. I was able to get to 500 cities and towns, and what we did was press conferences in each community. We gathered police escorts to walk us into the community. We gathered groups and individuals from that community to join in the walk and then participate in the press conference. And we did get a lot of media coverage from coast to coast. So as a matter of fact, I think we got a total of in the neighborhood of 2,000 media interviews done. So we're getting the word out effectively. During the way, Your Honor, we also had the opportunity to talk to Canadians about this issue. The good news is that Canada has the best medical facilities. We have the best surgeons. The transplant that Alistair was talking about was pioneered here in Canada. We pioneered this here in Canada, among other things in the transplantation world. So, you know, without a doubt, Canada leads the world in our medical technology and medical procedures. Sadly, Canada is lacking when it comes to our rate of organ donations. As a matter of fact, we're one of the lowest still when we're compared to the rest of the countries in the world. And we talked to Canadians about this. I was trying to figure out, why is this so? We live in the greatest country in the world. We have the best people here in our country in the world. Why is this? So we brought this issue to Canadians from coast to coast. And overwhelmingly, Your Honor, when we asked people about this issue and how they felt about becoming organ donors and if they would sign their donor card, overwhelmingly they all agreed to do it. I couldn't find a person that didn't want to do it. So why is it then that we're ranking at the lowest? This is definitely not a reflection on our public. Now, what we had to look at was our present system. We're operating under something called the Family Consent Law, which means that we need to share our wish with our family members because they're going to be approached to make that final decision. Now, the problem with that, your mayor, is that when they're approached, they're usually in a state of shock. And it's not guaranteed that they're going to be able to make that decision. You can't depend on that family member to be in the right state of mind to say yes. A lot of times they haven't been able to say yes, sadly, and afterwards they live with a lot of regret and anger because they don't get a second shot at it. So that is definitely a shortcoming that has to be looked at. The other thing that we found out is because Canadians lead such busy lives, they have a desire in their heart to do what they can for the country, to donate their parts. But because of the busy schedules that they have, they don't do it right away because they'll schedule it in sometime next week or a month later. And what happens, unfortunately, is some people pass away before their time comes to sign that card, you know. So we have two tremendous shortcomings in our country. We have one, approaching the family at the worst time possible to make that decision, and getting around to everyone in making this decision. If we can address these two shortcomings, I can assure you, your mayor, that we would have the highest rate of organ and tissue donations. So what we also talked to Canadians about, and Canadians were talking to me about, were saying they were asking me, why aren't we using the same system that Spain is using? Now, just to let you know, Your Honor, Spain has the highest rate in the whole world when it comes to organ donations, and they've had this rate, the highest rate, for the last 10 years. What they did 10 years ago was address this very issue that we're looking at right now. What they did, they took a survey from their country to see if they would support a registry which would register everyone in the country as organ donors, giving people the opportunity to take their names off. Now, they did that because they knew how important this decision was. They knew how many lives were depending on it. So when they found that overwhelmingly a majority of their people supported this initiative, then they passed legislation. And since they passed legislation 10 years ago, Spain has been enjoying a lot of success. People that are on the waiting list in Spain aren't desperately waiting, Your Honor. They're optimistically waiting for organs to arrive. We can do the same here in our country. So along the way, we had a twofold operation, Your Honor. We were not only bringing awareness, but we were also bringing forth to people the possibility of possibly reforming our present system. Let's debate it. We're in a country where if something's not working, then we have the opportunity to fix it. So what we're also proposing in this campaign is to see if we can reform our system so that Canada can have the best system possible, and so that those 4,000 people that are presently on the waiting list can expect to have everything possibly done to save their lives. Because how we look at those 4,000 people, Your Honor, is as 4,000 people that are trapped in a burning building, because they're only clinging on with days left in their life. And are we making every effort to rescue them? So my campaign is only half finished when I finish this on August the 9th. On that day, we're hoping to get a lot of media coverage. We're hoping to get some celebrities come out. We're getting a lot of groups, ethnic groups, people from all walks of life to come out and walk with us. And on that day, what we're going to show is a miracle. The good detective and his son are going to be walking 10 kilometers, carrying the torch, after receiving a transplant 2 months ago, the son donating his organ to his son. What we're going to show Toronto and the world is that someone's life could be saved if they're suffering with a liver disease from a family member or a friend. A lot of people don't know that. Right now, somebody might have days left, and they can have a family member that can save their life or a friend. We need to get that word out. And that's what the good detective and his son's going to do on this Friday. And we're hoping that